We have 2 generations of people in Jamaica, them dance like but. And them a go dance, sir. We have 2 generations of people in Jamaica, them dance them.
Say something to the general.
And that is why we are
Opposition leader Andrew office in 2012.
First set of explosions that I heard.
Dozens of people now dead in Jamaica.
Do not go into the buildings even if you're asked to come in.
It's like a war, it's like a Middle East.
We can't come out and buy food. We're hungry.
America's most feared gang, the Shower Posse.
The helicopters throwing grenade on the all. The helicopters throwing grenade on the all.
Under Edward Siaga government, then try pricing Jamaican water to kill Jamaican people. Come, on the dirty labor, right? Come dispute that one here. On a pussy wall, you know. Yeah, man, I may approve as a liquor youth. No can read and write like me, you know. Yeah, maybe me don't know certain things, but remember, me tell that me now forgot. If you don't want the proof, government ministry right now, up on whole up road and government ministry. The poison there in one cage, lock up, and that nothing move. You say if you pass it, you smell one little focus smell, if you start if you have 5 minutes, you start feel giddy. Yeah, man. And Edward Saga government. Remember, I CIA, come to destroy blood clot Jamaican people. Yeah. And one next thing again, blood clot, then try pricing in a flower. Labor right, try pricing in a flower. Whole of Jamaican people. All the whole labor right too, because whole of William flower. Yeah, man. Remember good no man. All I met him. Lion Pride. I saw the flower, the name Lion Pride. And for them wicked up to today they to blood clot. You know, see, and holness. How shit water Jamaican people are drink. And like me I tell you, right? No, don't come.
Paid $50,000 to help free Judas.
the exact figure for the payment to the law firm was $49,912.62.
Just tell us, Mr. Prime Minister, who paid the $50,000?
I can't recall. It was party funds.
The first set of explosions that I heard on that particular day was coming from in the vicinity of Levy Path, Chang Avenue, Derrick Path section, within that vicinity.
Right.
And each time those devices fell to the ground, the whole place was just shaking.
When you said these devices fell to the ground, you saw these devices fall to the ground?
No.
What you saw? Tell us what you saw. You heard these loud explosions, and then what you saw?
When I heard the explosion, from where I was, there, this is the wall.
Okay.
So when I climb up now to look over the wall, I can look down. I can see section of Chang Avenue, sections of Levy Park.
Which wall is this now?
No, this is the wall that is separating adjoining houses then.
From your house to the adjoining house?
Yes.
Yes, so you look over that wall?
Yeah, and I can see sections on Chang Avenue and down Levy Park.
Question and answers to questions.
Yes, and did you see anything when you looked?
Made at the commencement
Yes.
of public
What you
business
saw?
require notice.
Well, I saw Marjorie Hines, I saw Bojan
Motion related
Rochester,
to sitting up the
and I
house.
saw Carl
Motion
George
to leave to
Henry
introduce bills.
lying in the road.
Presentation of bills without
Walker
leave
says
of
he
the House
noticed
first
they had
obtained.
received injuries from the explosions
business.
and they were crying out for help. He said another explosion then occurred in his neighbor Michael Williams' yard.
Michael's yard is not, what would I say, no, concrete. It's not concrete. His yard is merely dirt. So when the device fell to the ground.
You saw the device fall to the ground?
No, I heard it.
Yes.
So I'm standing in my yard now.
Yes.
Then a lot of dirt and stone just rise up in the air. Start to hit me in my face. So then I ran out of the yard now onto Postal Highway, across the building where I saw Michael. Then I told him what happened. And
Where was Michael at that time?
He was on Postal Highway.
Yes, you told him what happened?
I saw him in front of building 42.
How he appeared to you when you saw him?
I think when I told him what happened, he was in total shock. He did not say a word to me when I explained what had happened.
Walker said after explaining to Williams he attempted to enter his own home when it was hit.
In order for me to get inside my house, I have to therefore open a grill first. Then I'll have to open the door afterwards to go inside.
So you did that? You opened the grill and
No, I didn't get a chance to open the grill, sir.
Okay.
So you're going to do that?
Yeah, I was about to do that.
Yes, and what happened?
When I heard something flying through the tree.
Where's the tree now? Tree in your yard?
No, the ackee tree in my yard.
Yes.
Fly through the tree, boom, on top of the roof.
Roof of your house?
Yeah.
Yes.
So after that happened, I ran out again, shot still firing all over. Then I went over to my other neighbor's house.
What's the name of that neighbor?
I don't know her right name, but I know her as Chini.
Chini?
Yeah.
You're not Chinese?
No.
Okay. Yes, and you reached over there?
Yes, sir.
And what happened?
Mr. Speaker, let me
Well, I was there for roughly 4 days. Then,
well, before you went over to Chini's house, did you know anything about your house?
You embraced me as family. You opened your homes.
My house?
Your hopes,
I never stayed to notice anything, sir.
Corporal was immediately shot and killed by gunmen whom we saw firing from the high-rise building in Tiva.
So to the people of Manchester Northeastern, it is an honor to represent you, and I will continue to serve you with dedication, humility, and purpose. Now, Mr. Speaker, I know he was already acknowledged, but allow me to again acknowledge and recognize the Honorable Audley Manayard Shaw, who dedicated more than 30 years of service to the people of Manchester Northeastern and to Jamaica. You have heard all the areas in which he has served. His contribution to national development has been significant, and I thank him for his years of service to the Jamaican people. And I know it's really 33 years, so thank you for your service. I also extend my gratitude to Councillor Omar Miller, my dedicated workers, supervisors, constituency team, trusted advisors, and the committed members of my security and transport team, an extraordinary family of service providers whose tireless sacrifices, unwavering loyalty, and relentless hard work have carried me every step of this journey. Special appreciation to my permanent secretary, General Rocky Mead, and the OPM team, to agency heads already recognized. Your partnership, dedication, and shared commitment to public service are instrumental in driving the modernization of Jamaica and advancing a more resilient future for our people. Mr. Speaker, I also again wish to acknowledge the partnership with the World Bank Group and the Inter-American Development Bank. Their collaboration has played a vital role in strengthening the frameworks, financing, planning, and institutional support necessary to modernize Jamaica's service delivery, improve governance, and accelerate national development. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I extend profound gratitude to my family who have so selflessly shared me with the people of Jamaica. Your unwavering love, patience, sacrifice, and steadfast support have been my strength. I extend sincere appreciation also to my parliamentary colleagues on both sides of this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, I stand here today not only as a representative for Manchester Northeastern, but as a servant of the Jamaican people, guided by a clear mandate to modernize how the government works, expand opportunities through technology, and ensure that progress reaches every community across Jamaica. Today, I'll present to this honorable House, to every Jamaican across this nation, and to our brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora, how the government's streamlining processes for efficiency and economic development, speed agenda, is driving Jamaica beyond resilience and boldly into an era of national resurgence. Mr. Speaker, let me start with the work of the Information Communications Technology Authority. The Information and Communications Technology Authority, the ICT Authority. Last year, in April 2025, the authority was formally operationalized with a clear mandate to strengthen governance, accelerate digital transformation, and bring greater coordination to how technology is managed across government. And we are already starting to see the results 1 year later. First, as was announced by the Prime Minister last year, the electronic motor vehicle registration and digital fitness certificates are now a reality. The government successfully modernized Jamaica's motor vehicle registration system by transiting from traditional physical documents to electronic motor vehicle registration and digital fitness certificates. Mr. Speaker, to date, 1.1 million motor vehicle registrations have already been processed online, reflecting a real and measurable impact of digital transformation in this space. This platform goes beyond simply converting paper processes into digital ones. It is reshaping how citizens experience government services. Jamaicans can now receive timely notifications when their certificates are nearing expiration, allowing them to stay compliant without uncertainty or last-minute stress. Renewals are also fully available online, enabling citizens to complete the process quickly and conveniently from wherever they are. Traveling to tax offices, no more traveling to tax offices or standing in lines. This is speed in action. Second, Mr. Williams, is a Tax Administration Jamaica mobile app. Through the TAJ mobile app, citizens are now able to complete a range of transactions directly from their devices, including making tax payments and paying other government-related services such as police record applications, tax compliance certificates applications, driver's license applications, just to name a few. So far, the mobile application has already attracted more than 40,000 users and counting. Again, Mr. Speaker, this means completing transactions from the convenience of your home or office. Third, the implementation of digital signature services. Although the Electronic Transaction Act was passed back in 2006, full implementation required more than registration. It demanded the digital infrastructure, governance systems, security architecture, and coordinated government execution necessary to transform law into everyday reality. Two critical pillars of transformation were the electronic transaction signature policy and the establishment of Jamaica's National Public Key Infrastructure, PKI, which this government has now successfully implemented. The PKI enables the issuance of secure electronic documents, creating the trust framework required for legally recognized digital transactions. I was telling my daughter, Madison, about the PKI, and she said, Mom, don't talk about being excited about that. It makes it sound like a nerd. But it's okay to be a nerd with these exciting developments. As such, with this infrastructure in place to support the legislation, I was pleased to announce the full implementation of the electronic signatures across government in March this year, 2026, 20 years after the Act was first passed. This milestone marks a historic leap forward in national digital transformation, because today digital signing allows documents to be securely executed electronically. This means people and businesses can now submit and receive authenticated documents at government offices without relying on paper or in-person visits for a wet ink signature. And I must tell you, this has a special meaning for me, because 2 years ago, I came home with some visitors and we went to a government office. And we were told that we could not finish getting the registration done because wet ink signatures required from the other investors to come in from abroad. And so I'm very pleased that today we will not have those sort of restrictions anymore in terms of getting businesses going in Jamaica. So instead of traveling from office to office, paying to print documents, making photocopies, physically stamping and certifying paperwork, Jamaicans will increasingly be able to complete important transactions electronically. Less paper, less waiting, less bureaucracy, more efficiency for the Jamaican people. Speed in action. Mr. Speaker, implementing the acceptance of the electronic signature across government has been transformative for the courts. Since 2026, 322,364 traffic tickets have been issued. In 2025, 714,362 traffic tickets were issued, which speaks to another problem. Some of these traffic ticket matters require a warrant to be signed and issued by a judge. Judges are now enabled to sign traffic ticket warrants electronically, and so far, approximately 103,089 traffic ticket warrants have been electronically signed by judges. Mr. Speaker, with digital signing of warrants, this means less physical movement of documents, fewer administrative delays, reduced printing and storage costs, and faster processing across the justice system. And importantly, it frees up the judges' time for other critical duties in the advancements of justice process in Jamaica. This is how digital transformation should work, not just digitizing paperwork, but improving how the government actually functions and delivers services to people every day. Mr. Speaker, the public can check their own traffic ticket status using the government's official traffic ticket digital service available at trafficticketlookup.gov.jm. Mr. Speaker, the government of Jamaica is also working to improve digital payments and financial inclusion. I'm pleased to share that the ICT Authority has successfully strengthened and modernized the government's secure online payment gateway, Paygate. Paygate facilitates online payments in both Jamaican and United States dollars using Visa and MasterCard, and integrates with the major local commercial banks for payment processing. Last week, I was at a meeting in Negril, and the operators there told me that they are still having problems because many of them don't have a credit card, they have debit cards. And so I'm pleased to update that that Paygate also will take Visa debit cards. During this last financial year, 6 government entities were added to the platform, and over 1 million transactions were processed, enabling citizens to conveniently pay property tax, business taxes, motor vehicle fitness and registration fees, and other government charges through the TJ mobile app. The Jamaica Customs Agency also uses Paygate and is allowing importers and brokers to pay custom duties, import permits, licenses, and certificates electronically, reducing processing times and improving ease of doing business. The remaining transactions were processed by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, Kingston Freeport Terminal, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and the Port Authority of Jamaica, demonstrating the growing adoption of digital payments across government. I will now pivot to this financial year and share a few priority areas for the next phase of Jamaica's digital transformation. Let me first speak about the digital document wallet. Mr. Speaker, in building on the multi-agency success of the electronic motor vehicle certificates, the government will now allow citizens to securely store and share government-issued documents electronically, including birth certificates, national ID card, and any other civic document they want to store in the wallet. More convenience, more efficiency. Secondly is Gov Notify. Gov Notify will centralize government notifications and updates through email, SMS, and WhatsApp. People of Jamaica will be able to receive reminders for expiring passports, driver's license, and other important updates, because we all need reminders sometimes. These are not isolated initiatives. They represent a deliberate shift towards a government that is more efficient, but to deliver these services seamlessly and at scale, they must be connected. So, Mr. Speaker, I am again so very excited to share that since last month, we implemented the Jamaica Data Exchange Platform, the JDXP. The JDXP is a foundational pillar of digital transformation agenda. At some point, every Jamaican has had to move from office to office, carrying documents, repeatedly filling out the same forms, and waiting far too long just to get business done. In government, there's a powerful force called turf. The JDXP represents a major shift from turf to joined-up government, from data silos to data sharing, from fragmented systems to integrated, interoperable government systems, from slow manual processes to real-time seamless services. The JDXP allows authorized government systems to exchange information electronically and in a standardized way. It allows institutions to securely verify information directly at the source instead of requiring citizens to carry documents everywhere. Think of JDXP as a trusted digital bridge, connecting government agencies and businesses, which means if you go to open a bank account, your identity can be verified in real time using your national ID card. No more, Barbara, no more JP letter, no more reference forms, no more back and forth, no duplication, no delays. That is what is coming. And Mr. Speaker, it is my intention that opening a bank account in Jamaica should move to first world standards, where accounts can be opened in under 1 hour. JDXP will make that possible and will also make possible a major new change in how business is done with the government. We are now able to introduce the once only zero bureaucracy principle with the help of the IDB. Mr. Speaker, the people of Jamaica should not be required to provide the same information to the government repeatedly. Through the once only principle being powered by the Jamaica Data Exchange Platform, information provided once to the government can now be securely shared with consent and reused across multiple ministries, departments, and agencies, reducing duplication, improving efficiency, and delivering a seamless, citizen-centered public service experience. These initiatives represent a deliberate and structured approach to modernizing public services. Mr. Speaker, I will now move to the second part of my update, the work of the National Identification and Registration Authority, NERA, formerly the Registrar General Department, RGD. In today's world, verifiable identity is what allows people to access jobs, banking services, healthcare, government services, and economic opportunity. If we are serious about reducing bureaucracy, improving efficiency, and modernizing public services, then we must also modernize our identity and civil registration services are delivered. Mr. Speaker, over the past year, NERA has been quietly building the foundation for that transformation, and we are now starting to see meaningful results. First, I'd like to announce today that NERA is Jamaica's newest 24/7 online act service. It is now among the first government services to provide 24/7 online access to all of its essential services. Whether you're at home, overseas, in the diaspora, or in your office. Jamaicans can now compete, and complete urgently needed transactions online, including applications for document recovery, birth certificates, death certificates, identification card applications, marriage certificates, renewals, and many more. These services deliver real and meaningful benefits to citizens by reducing administrative delays in critical areas such as school admissions, visa applications, bank loan approvals, insurance claims, and access to countless other essential services that Jamaicans depend on every day. For businesses and institutions, these innovations create a stronger, more secure foundation for efficiency by enabling faster onboarding of employees and customers, improving identity verification, and strengthening fraud prevention measures. Secondly, I'd like to highlight NERA's post-Hurricane Melissa document recovery program. Mr. Speaker, disasters have a cruel way of taking from people what they cannot easily replace. When someone loses a birth certificate, marriage certificate, deed code, they can lose access to jobs, banking services, healthcare, education, and even government support. That is why NERA operationalized a national document recovery program following Hurricane Melissa to provide rapid support to affected Jamaicans. To date, NERA has processed 47,562 document recovery applications, helping thousands of Jamaicans rebuild their lives in the aftermath of disaster. Importantly, 856 of our most vulnerable citizens receive these essential services free of cost, ensuring that compassion, dignity, and national support reach those who needed it most. And Mr. Speaker, recognizing that hardship does not end with hurricanes, this vital program has now been permanently institutionalized to support Jamaicans impacted by fires, floods, and other emergencies. This means that in times of crisis, citizens will continue to have reliable access to critical document recovery services, strengthening national resilience and ensuring that no Jamaican is left behind. Access is available 24/7 at nero.gov.jm.
But telling us something, we are not only on pre. Remember sometime about the telling us say Hurricane Melissa and the vehicle for digitalize Jamaica. Remember I'm telling you them try it with burial and it never worked. The only reason for Hurricane Melissa is for digitalize Jamaica. The World Bank president did come and give it a hint. So one hurricane can destroy the GDP in double digit. And he say, Andrew said that about how to digitalize Jamaica and the government. And this is the solution they come up with. Use one hurricane, fuck up Jamaica. The people them are going to lose them documents and then enroll them in this digital system by force. So the hurricane, as Andrew telling you, Jamaica is the poster boy for the world. Hurricane, some connection with the World Bank and the government of Jamaica, discharge Jamaica with Melissa just for enroll the citizens them in a digital system. That's the only thing. And for rebuild Jamaica system digitally. Enroll the citizens them because the World Bank president say them a think about how they can digitalize Jamaica. And then put a lot of stuff on the table. And them talk, what we can use discharge Jamaica, and them don't know, say how we behind it. And then come up with hurricane, because them have HARP. So they use the HARP technology, send one tornado from off of the sea, mash up Jamaica, enough people losing documents, 47,000 people, Melissa, make the government get to enroll in the needs and that style.
Their residence was totally burned down, 8 families affected. So I went to visit, and in all the distress that they were sharing, the one that was most problematic for the most elderly person was the fact that his pension book was gone and all his documents. And so, while we were able to provide immediate support, what gave me the most pleasure was that I could share that the documents will be replaced, and Minister Charles, I know the pension book will also be replaced. So this program is having, for me, real and immediate impact. Mr. Speaker, an identification services outreach was piloted in my constituency, and now we are ready to expand to all 62 other constituencies. Members of Parliament, you would have received an email invitation to indicate your willingness to participate in the program. I thank you all for who have responded. Mr. Speaker, the National Identification Card Project has also purchased mobile units that will be used for the constituency outreach programs aimed at bringing government services closer to the people. The mobile units will be ready for June 2026. This is what it means to be a people-centered government. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to highlight the expansion of NERA's National Identification Card Enrollment Centers. Over the past month, NERA has expanded significantly beyond the one location that was there previously at the Central Sorting Office in Kingston. National identification services are now being rolled out in Montego Bay, St. Anne's Bay, Port Antonio, Maypen, Santa Cruz, Mandeville, Twickenham Park, Portmore, and downtown Kingston. These locations are scheduled to be fully operational by the end of this month. The Savannah Lamar Registrar General's Department office was destroyed during Hurricane Melissa. Member from Central Westmoreland.
Beverly, big up yourself. Natalie, big up yourself. Big up everybody who check in here. When I stay out with my son, I go and hold a vibe and I watch for I go on. Big up on yourself here.
Mid-July 2026. The new location is configured to provide both civil registration and national identification services, as well as a modern post office banking hall. You nearly missed it, you know. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, in addition to Savannah Lamar, many other post offices are presently being renovated by NERA to provide both civil registration and national identification services. By July 2026, the service centers at Brownstown, Spalding, Oteria, St. Anne's Bay, Falmouth, Lucy, Santa Cruz, and Montego Bay are scheduled for completion. Let me now highlight a few priority areas for the next phase of transformation at NERA. First, the planned integration of the National Identification Card has proved that a person is licensed to drive. Mr. Speaker, the government is advancing legislative changes to allow the National ID card to serve as a legal proof that a person...
We want to listen to the plans for NERA.
Jamaicans with a national ID
only just listen to them plans for NERA. Only listen if you not hear build back the people them house in a presentation. Listen.
Or collect a separate physical license every 5 years. Mr. Speaker, another innovation from NERA will be instant services. By the end of this financial year, NERA will begin introducing instant services for civil registration documents. Today, many Jamaicans must apply for documents, wait for processing, and then return another day for collection. Under this new model, one visit, one transaction, same-day documents. The people of Jamaica will increasingly be able to apply, verify, pay, and receive documents within a single seamless process on the same day.
Then change the name from NIDS to Bumbleclot and I trick the people them. Then change the name from NIDS and I trick the people them. At the World Bank, a digitalized Jamaica, not Andrew Holness, the World fucking Bank. At the World Bank, a digitalized Jamaica, with the help of Andrew Holness. And when time them digitalize Jamaica, you see, on a fuck, because you can't talk again, you know. You can't talk, when you talk, on money I go switch off. You just wait. Bumbleclot, you never hear about the 7-year tribulation. You continue.
is also building national capacity. Mr. Speaker, one of the most significant achievements of this year has been the establishment of the Neuro Learning Center, a major investment in building the human capital required to power Jamaica's modern identity and civil registration services. Already, 229 employees are actively enrolled in a national ID professional course, while an additional training program has been developed to strengthen the capacity of 1,000 marriage officers and civil registrars across Jamaica. Let me repeat that, 1,000 marriage officers and civil registrars across Jamaica. This initiative is not only enhancing operational excellence, but also building a highly skilled national workforce capable of sustaining Jamaica's digital transformation for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, I would now like to move to the digital transformation of Jamaica Post. During the budget debate, the Prime Minister signaled a clear direction for Jamaica Post to evolve beyond its traditional role. The Post Office is one of Jamaica's largest service networks across the country, with over 400 postal points, with deep reach into communities where many Jamaicans struggle to access services. That is why Jamaica Post is now being repositioned as a modern platform for digital access, government services, logistics, and e-commerce opportunity. Mr. Speaker, for many Jamaicans and businesses today, formal addresses are still non-existent, inconsistent, difficult to verify, or hard to locate, creating challenges for deliveries, logistics, emergency response, and e-commerce. So, in fact, I remember the first time I was going to Shudley, I was told to go up so, down so, and turn right. so I know that this is something that we have to address. As part of the effort to address this challenge, Jamaica Post has been collaborating with YASO, Jamaica Limited, on the development and pilot implementation of a digital passcode and address system intended to improve location identification and delivery efficiency. This, for those of us from rural Jamaica, this is a very important initiative, and it introduces a technology-enabled digital address framework that uniquely identifies locations and improves the efficiency of mail delivery, logistics services, and online commerce across Jamaica. And I want to take a moment to pause and recognize Andrew Walker, the CEO of YASO. And I'm recognizing Mr. Walker because it's an interesting story to me personally. About 5 years ago, I realized when I was in Washington that we had over 100 Jamaicans working at Google. And they had come together and formed an association called Jam Googlers. And that's how I invited them to a meeting, and I met Mr. Walker. A couple of months later, or maybe years later, he called that he's trying to get an idea, a service to Jamaica, where you'll be able to help the police and help others by using a GPS system. And the more I described it, the more I said to him, but that's a great business idea. Take it and make it a business. And I remember meeting with him and his team and hearing the name YASO. At first it didn't click, I was out of Jamaica too long. But then after a while it came back to me. YASO is the name of the company. This is where I am. And so I was very pleased when I came back and heard that he had advanced a partnership with the IDB and was now the person leading the charge to put in this system in Jamaica. And for me personally, it's so rewarding because, when we see that our young Jamaicans are coming back to Jamaica with technology and business, I feel very good about it. So recognition. So with that, we will provide every home, business, and lot with an address which reduces inefficiency and modernizes Jamaica's national infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, Jamaica Post has also expanded express mail service access from 25 post offices to 66 locations island-wide during the last financial year. Many of you, my colleagues, you have reached out to me regularly asking about service, post office service for your elderly citizens and pension collection mechanisms, and we are addressing that. But equally important, the post office will be very important for our young people in micro and small businesses, online entrepreneurs, members of the creative industry who rely on affordable, reliable access to international markets. For many small business owners, access to shipping and logistics is not just a convenience, it's an access to customers, it's an access to growth. Which is why, Mr. Speaker, Jamaica Post has secured and is implementing the delivery duty paid solution to restore parcel and package delivery services to the United States. Many of you may not have realized, but the United States, they changed the policy last year, where many small items under $800 that used to go to the United States duty-free, that was terminated. So every parcel now going to the United States, even small items on $800 and under, you'll have to pay a duty. And so for a while, the system was suspended, but we were able to effectively put in a system so that the duties can be calculated and paid before the package leaves Jamaica. Let me really congratulate the Postmaster General and his team, because you have to think of it like a pre-clearance through U.S. Customs right here at home. So when it arrives in the United States, there are no surprises, no delays, and no rejected shipments. Jamaica Post has put in place the system and partnerships to do exactly that. Calculate the applicable duties, which are paid online and remit directly to the U.S. Customs on behalf of the sender. As a result of this technological solution, Jamaica Post can now resume package and small packet delivery across the United States market on June 1, 2026. This is important for our MSMEs, our online entrepreneurs, and every Jamaican selling products internationally through digital platforms. It reopens a critical trade channel, supports business growth, and strengthens Jamaica's participation in the global digital economy. Mr. Speaker, let me highlight a few areas for the next phase of the transformation of Jamaica Post. First, the One-Stop Government Services Center. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the Government Service Center initiative is now being piloted by the Jamaica Post. Through this initiative, post offices will increasingly become modern one-stop service centers where citizens can access government and commercial services online, especially for Jamaicans who may need assistance using digital platforms. And, you know, this again is special for me because 25 years ago, I had this idea and approached the then minister with the responsibility for post offices with this idea and started in a limited way, but it didn't really go much further than bill payments. So it's a special privilege to be in a position to drive the policies to maximize the potential of our post office network. I'm told that sometimes I'm a little bit ahead of my time, but member from Southeast and St. Catherine, time come. It's time to drive it forward. So in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank, the Government Service Initiative will be launched at selected post offices, and we are grateful for the $224 million in financial support, which is along with technical assistance, which is driving this initiative forward. Bringing full services is about ensuring that no Jamaican is left behind in the digital age. Secondly, Jamaica Post continues to expand express mail service across the country. During this financial year, express mail service will expand to an additional 44 locations, increasing its national footprint to 100 post offices island-wide. And by next year, we aim to strengthen the critical service by expanding express mail service to 150 postal locations across Jamaica, ensuring that every constituency has access to at least 2 EMS service points, and bringing faster, more reliable postal services closer to communities island-wide. Third, we are modernizing and restoring the postal infrastructure. No transformation effort can succeed without modern infrastructure. Most of our post offices have faced decades of deferred maintenance, compounded by severe damage from Hurricane Beryl and Hurricane Melissa. In total, 108 post offices are significantly impacted. But, Mr. Speaker, restoration and modernization efforts are now fully underway to rebuild a stronger, smarter, and more resilient service in the post office network for the Jamaican people. 25 affected locations are targeted for repair during this financial year, while under the NIS project, another 23 post offices are being comprehensively refurbished and modernized. That brings a total of 48 that is under the regular budget, and thankfully, under NARA, we'll be able to more than likely complete all the 108 post offices. To date, 4 locations, the Central Sorting Office, Ligani, Moon, and Harfordtree, have already been completed. Huh? They are completed. Mr. Speaker, access to digital services depends on reliable internet connectivity. That is why Jamaica Post is securing grant funding, starting with the $6.8 million from the Universal Postal Union to strengthen internet connectivity. And that is why, as a government, we are also taking decisive action to expand access. So I'll just take a few moments to mention other national initiatives across the government, starting with the National Broadband Network. The NBM, as currently designed, represents a transformative national investment that is expected to connect up to 2,768 government locations, including schools, while expanding high-speed broadband access to approximately 490,000 homes across Jamaica, including 140,000 in underserved communities. This initiative will significantly strengthen digital inclusion, expand access to opportunity, and help bridge Jamaica's connectivity divide. The government has also recently signed with Transamerica's fiber system for a new subsea cable into Jamaica. This will dramatically increase Jamaica's internet speed with up to 20 terabits per second of bandwidth. The NBM project and a new subsea cable will dramatically strengthen the country's digital infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the goal is simple: to give every Jamaican better internet access at more affordable prices, so that whether someone lives in Kingston or a remote community, they can learn, work, build a business, and turn great ideas into real opportunities that can uplift their family, transform Jamaica, and compete on the world stage. There are other transformative digital initiatives happening across government, including the introduction of electronic property titles from the National Land Agency. However, I must note that there's a great need to still simplify and modernize the government services infrastructure. In going through and listening to many stakeholders, tourism operators, financial service providers, distributive traders, developers, all spoke of the regulatory burden, from the procurement process to permits and approvals at the municipal corporations to getting paid from the government. And that one is particularly painful. After you go through all the process to do business, and have to wait a long time. to get paid, sometimes to the brink of bankruptcy. These are systems that we will have to change. And so that is why today I'm most excited to share why the government will be able to make these transformative changes to address these problems in a shorter than expected timeline. And Mr. Speaker, if Hurricane Melissa had directly struck Kingston and St. Andrew, Jamaica's devastation would have been far more severe and recovery significantly delayed. How much time have? The heart of government, the heart of government operations could have been wiped out. This reality makes one thing clear: strong physical infrastructure is not enough. Jamaica must also build resilient digital infrastructure to ensure government services, critical systems, and national operations can withstand hits and continue even in times of disaster. As such, I'm the biggest supporter of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. As a democracy, I have no issues with the debate to address concerns to ensure proper accountability. And let me pause to acknowledge the work done by Minister Chuck, CAPSEC Audrey Sewell, the Attorney General, the Solicitor General, and the dedicated civil servants supporting and advising the Legislative Committee of Cabinet. I want to join the Prime Minister and my colleagues in assuring the nation that before the draft bill came to Parliament, we had numerous meetings and vigorous debates to ensure that the concerns of probity and accountability were matched but not compromised with the objective of efficiency. Let me also commend the House Leader for all the meetings that were convened to ensure our parliamentary team had every opportunity to ventilate their concerns and come to this honourable House as a unified team to present and defend this worthwhile legislation. So let me be clear. We have this one moment in time to set Jamaica on a transformative path of planned, sustainable, resilient, and efficient development, and that is the singular purpose of NARA. But let me share another reason why I'm so excited about NARA. Last year, in one of my first meetings at the World Bank, they shared a well-researched and documented digitalization project for Jamaica. And with their funding, we are working on its implementation. And in February of this year, we were invited by the EU to look at how Europe has built climate resilience through the use of advanced technology. And I got fully exposed to the concept of digital twins, which provided the answer for resilient and efficient government, a government digital twin, to ensure Jamaica can remain operational, responsive, and resilient no matter the crisis, and at the same time also complete the reform and modernization of our bureaucracy. The Government Digital Twin Program is a bold national initiative that will leverage its strategic efficiencies to create Jamaica's digital parallel government ecosystem. This means a government that operates physically and digitally, a government that serves its people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a government that remains open, secure, and resilient under any circumstance. Mr. Speaker, with a government digital twin, combined with secure sovereign cloud and strategic redundant data centers, government services will remain available regardless of hurricanes, floods, pandemics, infrastructure, and geographic or economic shocks. As such, I'll be working to put the Government Digital Twin Project under NARA to supercharge its implementation. Again, with NARA, major resilience building national projects can be assessed and implemented on a timely basis to the benefit of all Jamaicans. Mr. Speaker, this is how Jamaica will move decisively from years of delay to a future of faster, smarter, and more responsive public service delivery. Let me just quickly then go to the last part of my responsibility, innovation. Mr. Speaker, I want to especially thank the Prime Minister for including innovation as part of my responsibility. Having had the lived experience as a young innovator, where I was hard-pressed from all sides and feeling beaten down and alone by the system many times, I want to ensure that no other Jamaican entrepreneur, innovator, or pioneer faces the same difficulty I faced many years ago. And that is the objective of this Andrew Holness-led government. This government is friendly to business, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Without innovation, Jamaica cannot achieve its growth agenda. In order to achieve sustainable growth, we must support innovators. Mr. Speaker, reducing bureaucracy, improving efficiency, enabling digital transformation, and creating a framework under which innovation is supported, encouraged, and celebrated is the roadmap. Mr. Speaker, I've mentioned many times and will mention again, Silicon Valley is not just a place, it is a culture that supports innovators and pioneers. That culture can and will be replicated in Jamaica. Last month, I had the opportunity to attend an IntelliBus hackathon where over 750 young Jamaicans turned out to create prototypes and conceptualize solutions to real-life problems in 24 hours across multiple sectors. I was blown away by the solutions they came up with. We must institutionalize this approach to innovation where we develop our local talent, support them, and help them to commercialize ideas and businesses. I want to recognize some students from Christiana High School and Homewood High School. Those students came out and they competed in Kingston with all the other schools and colleges and young people around, and they did well. And so I want to recognize them. I want to recognize Mr. Jermaine Morgan and Mr. Rory Richards, two Jamaicans who operate an online digital commerce and logistics platform that allows customers anywhere in the world to purchase items from supermarkets, pharmacies, farm stores, restaurants, and have them delivered the same day. And last year alone, they facilitated over $500 million Jamaican dollars in sales of local products and services, supporting congratulations. They're supporting Jamaica's businesses, SMEs, entrepreneurs, and communities across the island. They saw need, they know the technology, so they created a business. We need 1,000 Jamaicans doing this like that, more than 1,000. That is why I'll be putting forward an initiative for the government to establish a national solutions registry to provide Jamaicans with a direct platform to identify and submit innovative ideas and practical solutions to the challenges we face. Recommendations will be reviewed for action and potential partnerships. This initiative will help transform citizen feedback into tangible government responsiveness, problem solving, and national innovation. And to do this, the government will mobilize Jamaican talent locally and abroad, partner with universities, engage private innovators to accelerate deployment and build national innovation pipelines. So in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the mandate of the responsibility that I lead, innovation and digital transformation, is meant to cut across all ministries, agencies, and departments within the government of Jamaica. Our purpose is align all of government to partner, collaborate, and execute on projects and solutions so that the government, taken in totality, becomes more efficient in how we operate and extend services to citizens. In so doing, we'll facilitate innovation and entrepreneurship in order to grow the economy. And most importantly, ensure that Jamaica becomes a digital economy. I look forward to working with every minister, every spokesperson, every civil servant, and every Jamaican to ensure that at the end of this third term, Jamaica will be able to compete with Singapore and other places with efficiency, Mr. Prime Minister, with efficiency as a resource just as important as oil and minerals. Mr. Speaker, the journey from resilience to resurgence is steadily advancing. I've taken it on personally. I've been running at top speed. From my focus from the White House to Jamaica House, from Washington to Christiana. And I'll continue to run very fast to make sure that the speed agenda is delivered. The strong foundations are being laid, critical systems are progressively modernized, and we'll continue to build and deliver faster services, expanding opportunity, and improving the lives of the Jamaican people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, we'd like to express our profound thanks to the member from Manchester North Eastern and Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for innovation, efficiency, and digital transformation, the Honorable Audrey Marks OJ, for what was indeed a very welcomed, eye-opening presentation. So I want to thank her. And now we will have the Member of Parliament for St. Mary Central, who also will be doing his first sectoral presentation in this House.
Member, you...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Permission to speak from a seat other than my own. And without my voices, I guess I need permission to speak with a voice other than my own.
Permission granted.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to make my inaugural contribution to these sectoral debates in my capacities as the Member of Parliament for St. Mary Central and the Shadow Minister for Environment and Climate Resilience. These are responsibilities I do not take lightly, because when we speak about the environment, Mr. Speaker, we're not speaking merely about trees and rivers. We're speaking about whether our children can drink clean water, whether our farmers can survive the next drought, whether a family can ensure the home they use their life's work to build, whether fisherfolk in places like Padgy and Robbins Bay can still make a living from the sea, whether our people will still be able to access the beaches their grandparents once walked on freely, whether communities in places like Lucy, Buff Bay, Helshaw, Port Murray, and many others can survive stronger storms, collapsing roads, rising heat, and worsening flooding. The environment is not separate from the economy, Mr. Speaker. The environment is the economy. Tourism depends on it. Agriculture depends on it. Water security depends on it. Public health depends on it. National security depends on it. And so today, I intend to speak not merely as a parliamentarian, but as a Jamaican deeply concerned about the future we are leaving behind for future generations, including my own 11-year-old. I also rise with gratitude, Mr. Speaker. I thank God Almighty for the strength, courage, and energy He has given me to take on the many challenges that come along with these rules. I thank opposition leader Mark Golding for taking a chance on a young emerging leader like myself and placing me in this shadow cabinet. I thank the people of St. Mary Central for the confidence they have placed in me in electing me as their Member of Parliament. I take this responsibility seriously, Mr. Speaker, and commit to using every ounce of energy to ensure our Central St. Mary is a model constituency. I want to salute former Member of Parliament for St. Mary Central, my friend, Dr. Maurice Guy. Maurice has not only been my Member of Parliament, he was my family doctor growing up. He was the chairman at St. Mary High School where I was a student, and he's the godfather of my son. His approach and personality ensured one of the smoothest transitions in our constituency. He stayed with us throughout and has continued to stay with us. I don't want to single out people, but I want to salute my aunt, who is sitting in also for my mother who was not able to make it. Auntie Iris, or Nurse Murray, is the former head of the Midwives Association of Jamaica. And some of the values instilled in me, the good ones, she can take credit for. I especially thank my 4 divisional leaders, Councillors Fife, Garvey, MacDonald, and Miss Silvera, for their continued support. I thank my constituency executive, my team, the many Jamaicans across this country, the activists, the scientists, the planners, the prayer warriors, the teachers, the farmers, the ordinary citizens who continue to raise me in prayer and to raise the alarm about the environmental challenges confronting Jamaica in their respective locales. Importantly, I thank my darling wife, Dr. Nordia Thompson-Newell. Nordia has had opportunities to work all over the globe. She spent 2 years in Canada owning her craft, but she has dedicated her life to improving patient care and helping to train the next generation of medical professionals through advanced simulation and pediatric emergency medicine, even while supporting her growing family. Bang the desk, man. Make some nice, man. Mr. Speaker, across the world, climate change is no longer a future threat. It is here. The Caribbean is warming faster. Storms are becoming more destructive. Insurance costs are rising. Coastal erosion is worsening. Food systems are under pressure, and water systems are increasingly pressured. And despite it contributing nothing almost to global emissions, small island developing states like Jamaica stand among the most vulnerable nations on this earth. Yet even in this moment of danger, their opportunity lies. There's an opportunity to rethink how we build, how we plan, how we enforce, how we protect, and how we govern. That's right. And most importantly, an opportunity to decide whether environmental protection in Jamaica will belong only to the privileged or whether environmental justice will belong to all. Mr. Speaker, the government speaks about resilience, but resilience is not measured by speeches only. No. It is measured by delivery. It is measured by whether promises become policy, whether policies become law, whether law becomes enforcement, and whether enforcement changes lives. Because that is what we're here to send. We're sent to. And that is where, Mr. Speaker, this administration struggles. Mr. Speaker, few issues capture environmental inequality in this country more clearly than beach access. It is to our national shame, Mr. Speaker, that less than 1% of this natural resource can be freely accessed by our people. For years, Jamaicans have watched large portions of our coastline become increasingly inaccessible. First, they encounter the security guards. Then they go into the gated developments, the hotel corridors, the blocked pathways, and the disappearing fishing access. An island nation surrounded by the sea, where many citizens feel alienated from the sea itself. The government has finally tabled a beach access and management policy. And while I welcome the acknowledgement that a problem exists, the policy does not go far enough to address this problem. Because the policy still approaches beach access as a managed permission rather than a fundamental public right. Mr. Speaker, a beach cannot merely belong to those who can afford a room key or a day pass. Our coastline is part of our natural and our national inheritance. In countries across the region and the wider world, governments increasingly recognize that coastlines are held in trust for their people. But here in Jamaica, the land of wood and water, the average citizen increasingly feels like a visitor in their own country. The government boasts about the number of public beaches, but Jamaicans seeing things different. How much coastline can ordinary people actually reach freely, safely, and affordably? Because access is not merely about counting beaches, it is about the dignity of our people. It is about whether a fisherman can launch his boat, whether a child can see the sea and play in the sand, whether a family can enjoy the natural beauty in their own country, whether the man in Drapers who grew up with unfettered access to Blue Lagoon will still be able to access that facility for commercial and recreational activities. Mr. Speaker, the policy must go further. We need guaranteed public access corridors to all beaches. We need legal protection for traditional fishing communities. We need protection of public easements, national mapping of beach access points, limits on the privatization of coastlines, and modern legislation rooted in sustainable environmental justice. The objective, Mr. Speaker, must be free, unfettered access to all of Jamaica's beaches for all Jamaica's people, whether you live in Portland or you live in Montego Bay. Because beaches are not merely tourism assets. They're not merely tourism assets. They're a part of Jamaica's shared natural heritage. Jamaicans must not only live where others vacation, we must be able to enjoy our natural resources. Mr. Speaker, last year was an election year, and I hear my good friend talking about what is true and not. Let's talk about some truths. Several environmental groups came together and made their concerns known to both major political parties. And the minister made several promises in his 2025 sectoral presentation. Well, I have a list of the promises of the bills that were tabled and the policies that were laid on the paper in this house. And many of them remain incomplete and unfulfilled. We heard the environmental impact assessment regulation announced again this year after being announced last year. This old can has been kicked down the road for many years. Where's the wastewater and sludge regulations from 2025? Where are the strengthened air quality regulations? Where are the hazardous waste regulations? Where's the meaningful modernization of environmental enforcement? Too many announcements, too little execution. Mr. Speaker, while announcements are made and not kept, communities across Jamaica continue to face flooding, collapsing roads, poor drainage, blocked gullies, deforestation, and worsening environmental decline. Mr. Speaker, the next great global conflict may very well be over water. Yes. And Jamaica must take water security far more seriously. People want water. The condition of many watersheds is deeply concerning. Deforestation continues, river systems are under pressure, pollution threats continue to emerge, and increasingly, Mr. Speaker, we must take the conversation to include contaminants of emerging concern. Not merely traditional pollutants, but pharmaceutical waste, industrial chemicals, microplastics, agricultural runoff, and wastewater seepage. Environmental health is public health. We cannot claim to protect public health, Mr. Speaker, while ignoring long-term groundwater quality. Mr. Speaker, water infrastructure resilience must become a national priority. Mr. Speaker, the collapse of roads and bridges during periods of heavy rainfall should remind us that climate resilience is not theoretical. It is physical. It affects whether ambulances can pass going about on emergencies, whether children can get to school, whether businesses can survive, whether communities become isolated. I want to speak briefly about solid waste, Mr. Speaker. Jamaica's solid waste challenge has become a major environmental and public health crisis. Plastic water clogs our drains. Plastic clogs our drains. Flooding worsens the situation. Communities suffer. And despite years of talk and anti-litter campaign, enforcement remains weak. The average Jamaican, Mr. Speaker, still sees indiscriminate dumping with little consequence. Poor collection schedules lead to increased instances of illegal dumping. Mr. Speaker, it is concerning the high volumes of municipal solid waste that makes its way into our gullies and our drains, oftentimes causing flooding and calls for action from the very residents who contributed to the problem. Environmental laws without enforcement become nothing more than mere public relations exercises. Mr. Speaker, we need stronger penalties. We need better enforcement coordination. We need better collection. We need more environmental wardens, modern waste separation systems, investment in recycling infrastructure, and greater producer responsibility. Because environmental responsibility cannot rest only on citizens while large-scale waste generators escape accountability. Let us begin the conversation about extended producer responsibility. Mr. Speaker, climate change is not only an environmental issue, it is a justice issue. Those who contribute least to global emissions often suffer the most. The poor, rural communities, our small farmers and fisher folk, and our inner city residents. And so climate resilience cannot become another privilege only available to wealthy communities. We must ensure that adaptation financing reaches ordinary people, Mr. Speaker. Jamaica must continue to aggressively pursue climate financing, but we must also improve domestic governance, because international financing increasingly depends on transparency, accountability, and implementation capacity. Integrity matters in international financing. And this is where, Mr. Speaker, we continue to face a challenge. So climate resilience, Mr. Speaker, must influence how we go about treating with our governance framework. It must influence road design, housing approvals, drainage systems, agriculture planning, insurance frameworks, infrastructure investment, and national budgeting. Every ministry should be required to demonstrate climate resilience outcomes every time they go with a budget line item, because resilience cannot remain isolated inside one portfolio. It must become a whole of government framework. Mr. Speaker, Jamaicans are increasingly embracing renewable energy. Our families are investing in solar. Our businesses are investing in efficient energy systems, and electric vehicles are becoming more common. I'm the proud user of a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle myself, and solar at home makes the ride almost free. But the transition to renewed energy, Mr. Speaker, must be accessible to all. We need expanded incentives for renewable energy. We need more renewables on the grid, as my colleague from East Kingston and Port Royal spoke about. We need modernized grid infrastructure and policies that encourage energy independence while maintaining grid stability. The transition to cleaner energy should reduce inequality, not deepen it. Yes. Mr. Speaker, one of the most important reforms Jamaica must confront is environmental governance itself, because recent controversies have exposed structural weaknesses in the way environmental decisions are made in this country. I won't delve too much into the matter involving the 2020 mining permit, which was granted to Bengal Development Limited after the minister overturned an earlier decision made by the NRCA. This is very ominous when you consider the recently passed NARA legislation, Mr. Speaker, which will pretty much legitimize this kind of action. And the question, Mr. Speaker,
Presenter, just a minute, please. Member, may I hear your
A live matter before the court. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the leader of reflecting on a decision of a court of law being likely to prejudice a case which is under trial, including a case tried by a court-martial before confirmation, or 35.3.2, reference shall not be made, contents of speeches. Reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as, in the opinion of the chair, prejudice the interests of the parties thereto. Chairman, the member is well aware that when a matter is live before the courts, it should not be the subject of speeches. And I'm asking you to rule the member as being out of order for doing that. That is my point of order.
Mr. Speaker, we have been abusing this issue about sub judice. This is the highest court of the land. And until we are told we are the highest court, the parliament is. The parliament is. There is nothing that the member has just said that in any way will violate any sub judice rule. There's nothing that he has said. Please allow the member to continue uninterrupted. Mr. Speaker, can you just enable the member to continue his presentation uninterrupted?
Members, if you wish for me to make a ruling, then you have to listen to yourself first so that you can listen to me. I'm going to ask I will ask the member, the presenter, to make sure that he limits himself to a situation that causes a conflict. I am going to allow you to continue.
Mr. Speaker, Rule 40 gives me the right to speak without unnecessary interruption. Yes. So if it causes controversy, the members on that side should govern themselves in accordance with Standing Order Rule 40. Mr. Speaker, the NARA, Mr. Speaker, I have already spoken about the concerns relating to the stepping rights provided under NARA, which are ominously similar to what happened in the case mentioned. Yes. And the question before us and before this House, Mr. Speaker, is larger than any one quarry, any one permit, or any one minister. The bigger question, Mr. Speaker, is can environmental science and technical expertise be overridden by political discretion without sufficiently transparent safeguards? No. Mr. Speaker, environmental regulation must not only be independent, it must be seen to be independent. And that is why I am again calling, Mr. Speaker, for us to move toward the creation of an independent environmental protection agency established by statute. This argument is not anti-development. It is not anti-investment. It is pro-transparency, pro-science, pro-accountability, Mr. Speaker, and pro-Jamaica. Because investors deserve certainty. Communities deserve fairness. And the country deserves confidence that environmental decisions are being made objectively and transparently. Mr. Speaker, NEPA cannot continue to appear trapped between environmental protection and developmental pressure. NEPA, which manages the NRCA, continues to sit in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, even after environment and climate change has been given its own ministry. Yet planning, Mr. Speaker, and environment protection.
What is what? Hello, I consulted with the clerk. You saw the clerk standing a while ago. I consulted with the clerk. The case that was mentioned is still in the court. The appeal was filed just last week. No, I'm saying
Mr. Speaker.
Turn your mic on. Turn your mic on.
Mr. Speaker.
Turn your mic on. Turn yours off.
Mr. Speaker, from the initiation of the matter of Bengal in court, this Parliament has been commenting on it consistently. I have mentioned it in speeches here. Others have. The matter has been recently decided by the court. If there is an appeal, let them call. Yes, it does not mean. But Mr. Speaker, it is unfair. It is unfair to interrupt the member. In this way, I think the member deserves an additional 5 minutes because yes.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you will permit me, the remit by which the member spoke on the case is not, it doesn't fall under sub judice. And the sub judice rule was never meant to restrict judges of the Court of Appeal nor the Privy Council. And so I will respectfully say the interpretation by the member is wholly inaccurate and is interrupting the member while he's speaking.
Member, you want to say something, member from Manchester?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as not a lawyer but a legislator with 6 terms experience in this House, I don't believe you should seek legal advice from the clerk. It should be from the Parliamentary Council, who is properly authorized to give you advice on this matter.
Can I? Go on.
Members, after consulting with the legal personnel from Parliament, I am ruling that the presenter is out of order at by section 35, subsection 2. I'm going to ask you to retract and continue the presentation. I am ruling him out of order, so he must. The matter is before the court. That is my ruling, presenter.
You must also outline that evidence has been provided to you that there has been an appeal in the matter.
The evidence has been provided that the matter is in court at this time. Yes. I am.
Mr. Speaker, there is nothing that the member said earlier that would in any way prejudice the matter that is in court.
The legal personnel from Parliament, the legal person.
Mr.
Are you going to continue with the presentation or not?
Yes, he wants to continue.
I'm saying I'm ruling him out of order.
No, you can't rule him out of order.
That is my decision. My decision is that I'm ruling the presenter out of order on the matter.
You cannot rule the... Mr. Speaker, can you allow the member to continue with his presentation? We're asking you to allow the member to continue with his presentation. Afterwards, we need a written legal opinion on this matter.
I need to intervene. I need to intervene because it is clear that the opposition is abusing processes here. The member from South Manchester said that the clerk should not advise you, when it states in 5 that the clerk should advise the speaker. The standing order also says that the standing order also says that your ruling is final. But we have the leader of opposition business questioning your ruling. We cannot continue to allow the undermining of the standing orders in the House, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I am not sure what it is that you're asking the member to retract in his presentation, because the member said he will not delve into the matter. He will not delve into the matter. No. And all he did was to compare the matter to why he's concerned with Naira. Yeah. That's all he did, and he moved on. So, so, Mr. Speaker, the advice that you got did not go far enough to tell you what he should retract. So we want to know. If there is anything to be retracted. I humbly, no, members, Mr. Speaker, I would humbly ask you to just allow the member to continue his presentation. If it is that you are not satisfied that he should, then I think you should ask for Hansard. I think you should ask, no, Mr. Speaker, if you are to be balanced and fair, Mr. Speaker, I think that the legal advice that you got should ask for Hansard to show that the member never delved into the matter at all.
Member, once again, I'm ruling that you continue your presentation, but remember and be reminded that making reference to a case in the court, I'm going to rule you out of order again.
I don't remember which Prime Minister said, "Can't nobody take my stride." Mr. Speaker, planning and environmental protection must work together, but environmental regulation must not appear to be bogged down by economic considerations. And so I propose, Mr. Speaker, the modernization of the NRCA Act, the establishment of an independent environmental protection agency, a modern environmental permitting framework, mandatory publication of technical recommendations and decisions, mandatory publication of reasons for approvals and refusals, codified rights, appeal rights, statutory timeline for decisions, enhanced scientific monitoring capacity, stronger public participation rights, and the creation of a specialized environmental tribunal. Mr. Speaker, if Jamaica recognizes the need for independence in anti-corruption oversight, why would we not recognize the need for independence in environmental protection? Why should decisions capable of permanently affecting aquifers, forests, coastlines, and public health for this and future generations not benefit from similar institutional safeguards? And so I believe the governing board of this independent agency should be appointed through a transparent process similar in spirit to the Integrity Commission model. It must include, Mr. Speaker, broad stakeholder consultation, fixed qualification requirements, protection from arbitrary removal, and representation from environmental science, engineering, planning, law, climate science, and civil society. The minister talks a lot about having science lead the way in environmental policy and action. I support this. What better way to have science lead the way than to have permit appeals be overseen by a transparent, competent authority and not the political directorate? Because a permit denial should never feel like a political obstacle. It should be a scientific determination, respected unless transparently overturned through clearly defined legal safeguards. Mr. Speaker, relatedly, I want to raise the matter of Fort Rocky. Minister, this country deserves an update on Fort Rocky. This Parliament deserves an update. Yes. What is the current status of Fort Rocky, Honourable Minister? What environmental protections are now in place? What lessons have been learned? And why has the public heard so little from the government regarding this issue? Fort Rocky is just one example of why we need an independent environmental protection agency. Because sometimes the bad actor and chief environmental degrader is the government itself. It was agents of the state who bulldozed the sand dunes and cleared mangroves at Fort Rocky, amplifying vulnerabilities in Port Royal without any approval from the KSAMC. Yeah. Fort Rocky sits in the Palisadoes Port Royal protected area. It is a wetland of international importance under the United Nations Ramsar Convention. It's full-time Jamaica hears from the minister regarding what rehabilitation has taken place at Fort Rocky. Mr. Speaker, I also wish to address another issue on which the silence of the Environment Minister has been noticeable, and that is oil exploration. The country deserves some amount of clarity or a conversation. What is the environmental position regarding offshore oil exploration? What marine risk frameworks exist? What spill response capacity exists or will be built? What environmental liability regime exists? What protection exists for fisheries and tourism, and what consultation have been had with those stakeholders? What consultation has occurred with coastal communities? What insurance requirements would apply? What independent scientific assessments have been completed? Or is it a good excuse that NEPA is not in the Ministry of Environment, so it's NEPA's responsibility? Mr. Speaker, I am not here to say Jamaica should never examine economic opportunities as they arise. I'm here to say that the country deserves clarity before irreversible decisions are made, and we deserve to be a part of the conversations and the decision. Because environmental governance is no longer merely a moral issue. Increasingly, it is a legal and financial risk issue. Globally, governments and corporations are increasingly facing climate litigation, biodiversity litigation, pollution liability claims, failure to regulate actions, and intergenerational environmental justice claims. And so Jamaica must ensure that any future extractive activity is governed by strong independent regulation, robust environmental standards, transparent scientific review, modern liability frameworks, and enforceable polluter pays principles governed by an independent environmental regulator. This House must understand that drilling and associated industries has the potential to move us from a minor contributor to global warming to a major contributor, opening us up to emerging litigation and claims. Mr. Speaker, the world is changing. Environmental protection is no longer peripheral to development. It is central to investment credibility, climate financing, public trust, and national survival. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk briefly about the shelters, if I'm allowed. Recent discussions regarding shelters should force us to confront the larger problem we're facing. Climate resilience is not only about weather forecasting, it is about preparedness capacity. And these issues no longer fit neatly inside one ministry, because climate resilience itself no longer fits inside one ministry. So while we continue to contemplate the fact that billions in unspent donations from Hurricanes Beryl and Melissa continue to sit at ODPEM, we must ask ourselves, are our shelters ready? Are they adequately distributed? Are they accessible to persons with disabilities? Do they have backup power, water storage and water purification, sanitation, telecommunication resilience? Mr. Speaker, we are less than 2 weeks away from the start of the hurricane season. Hundreds of millions of donor funds sitting unspent, and about 50% of our shelters are unprepared for a strong breeze, let alone a major hurricane. Mr. Speaker, climate resilience is now inseparable from national security, public health, and economic stability. And that is why I believe Jamaica must adopt a mandatory national climate risk screening framework for major public infrastructure projects. We're not talking about JSRAT. We're not talking about JSRAT. Because in a climate vulnerable island, every road is climate policy. Every bridge is climate policy. Every drainage system is climate policy. Every housing development is climate policy. We're not talking about mapping what infrastructure exists, Mr. Speaker. We're saying every time that book comes to Parliament for us to approve a budget, we should get something saying, yes, these have been climate checked. So you can go ahead and approve. Climate resilience cannot be something we check. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, you silenced our members.
Reclaiming my time.
Just on a point of clarification. Under the FAA Act, there is a process called PIAB. For you to get a capital allocation, you must be approved by the PIAB. The PIAB reviews every investment for climate change efficacy. It means every climate change, every investment in capital works is indeed climate screened. So he's calling for something that already exists, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, we cannot continue building 20th century infrastructure for 21st century concerns. The collapse of roads and bridges during periods of heavy rainfall should remind us that climate resilience is not theoretical. Too many roads repeatedly fail. Too many drains repeatedly overflow. Too many retaining walls repeatedly collapse. Too many communities repeatedly become isolated, Mr. Speaker. And if the roads leading to St. Thomas that had some failure after some heavy rain recently went through their assessment, we need a new assessment framework. Every failed road and flooded community represents not merely an engineering problem, but a climate and fiscal problem. No major public infrastructure project should proceed, and no budget should come through this Parliament without us being able to interrogate whether it has been climate screened. Mr. Speaker, in Central St. Mary, I see the realities of climate vulnerability every single day. I see our roads collapsing after heavy rainfall. I see communities cut off, drainage failures, farmers worried about rainfall patterns. I see coastal vulnerability. And I'm reminded constantly that climate resilience is not abstract. It is personal. It affects livelihoods, education, health, employment, investment. Mr. Speaker, bad roads kill communities. Yes. Simple issues left unattended become major problems and significantly compromise quality of life. Environmental and infrastructure neglect kills opportunity. And our response must not be performative. It must not be temporary. It must not be political. It must be urgent. Yes. And so while people might be patient if they are given an update on when a bridge like the Trinity Bridge will be replaced, it is harder to accept why a government would not even respond to the safety concerns presented by a huge cavity on the road leading to Marlborough, widening daily, threatening to cut off large communities. Again, the response must not be performative. It must not be temporary. It must not be political. It must be urgent. Mr. Speaker, there are moments in the life of every nation when it must decide what it values. Whether short-term convenience will outweigh long-term survival. Whether public resources belong to all the people or only a few. This is one of those moments, Mr. Speaker. We must decide whether some representatives can aggressively advocate or whether some representatives must be quiet and hope that something will fall on their lap. This is one of those moments. The Jamaica we hand over to our children is being shaped right now by the decisions we make, by the laws we pass in this honorable house, by the systems we tolerate, the courage we demonstrate. Madam Speaker, we are a small island developing state. But we're not powerless.
No.
we can build a cleaner Jamaica, a more resilient Jamaica, a fairer Jamaica, a Jamaica where development and environmental protection move together, a Jamaica where ordinary people can access their beaches, can drink clean water, can breathe cleaner air, and live with dignity. But that future requires more than talk. It requires courage. It requires honesty. It requires enforcement. It requires planning. And importantly, it requires vision, because without vision, our people continue to perish. Mr. Speaker, the environment is not a luxury. It is life itself. And if we fail to protect it, history will never forgive us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
House Leader.
Well done. Turn us off.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank the member from St. Mary's Central for his very loud presentation. But as his first time, we have to give credit to him, as it is not easy to stand up in the House to make presentations, and we have to give credit where credit is due. Mr. Speaker, I wish to adjourn the sectoral debates, suspend the sectoral debates, and also if there... Mr. Speaker, I ask that you move for the suspension of the sectoral debates.
The request is on the floor for the suspension of the sectoral debate. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Before you move, House Leader, House Matter, standing order 34, and I want both sides of the House to listen carefully. Interruption is subject to provision of Standing Order 26, 38, and 39. A member shall not interrupt another member except A, by rising to a point of order, where upon the member speaking shall resume his seat, and the member interrupting shall simply direct attention to the point which he desires to bring to notice and submit it to the Speaker or Chairman for decision. Or B, to elucidate some matters raised by that member in the course of his speech, but only if the member speaking is willing to yield or give ways and resumes his seat if the member wishing to interrupt is called by the chair. Let us pay attention to that. Content of speech, Section 35, subsection 2. Reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as might, in the opinion of the chair, prejudice interests of the parties thereto. Bear in mind those two. Don't worry yourself. Continue.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is not intended to do any further business today, so I ask that you adjourn the House for a date to be fixed.
The request is that the House be adjourned for the rest of the day until a date to be fixed. Those in favor? Those against? Ayes have it. This House stands adjourned.
So my viewers and subscribers, I I hear say Marga. Them holidays start now. I'm off for 10 days, 13 days. Yeah, some holidays start now. So me I put one nice show together for tomorrow. Another day because I'm going to do here. I'm going to get bored. Somebody start come live. So when I look for me, just make sure say I want to post notification bell on because I come with a show tomorrow. I'm going to show now Andrew Holness committing crime them and I try to cover them up. I'm going to show them pattern. Shit. Like an arrow. So big up on yourself, big up everybody who check in. Right, so now make it cut off. And go and put the thing together. See me doing? Yeah. So look more. Environmental responsibility cannot rest only on citizens while look more.